It's the realist.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your guy Realistic, and welcome to my tutorial vault. That's right, I'm gonna start grabbing some of my most classic tutorials over the years out of the vault and re-releasing them. That way y'all can enjoy, get your mixing and mastering skills back up. So if you find any of the information useful, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. That way this keeps showing up in your feed, and sit back and enjoy the content. From time to time, you will get a client that reaches out about mastering sums or sending you multiple sums or stems within the actual tracks and everything like that. And so it's good to prepare for that and understand what you need to do and stuff. And I wanted to do a video on this in this course because it does come up from time to time. And I also wanted to show you that it's not going to be too much of an issue if it does arise. You're not going to make too many decisions or changes differently than you would normally. But I will say this: if you're getting in some stems and sums, charge a little bit more for that, because you are going to be doing a little bit more work, because you're going to be spending a little bit more time because you have the individual tracks. So if that does come up, make sure that you charge a little bit more. Also, I wanted to point out that they really should send you just some sums of just the stems of certain sums, right? They shouldn't be sending you every individual one, because if they do, that's more mixing. Then you're really gonna start getting into mixing it, and then that's a whole different price range and a whole different thing. So just if they do send you all that, be like, hey, this is actually more mixing. I'd be happy to mix it for you, but here are my rates for mixing. But I'll show you what I mean. Typically what happens, so I'll show you two things that I usually get, right? The most common one that I get is where I'll get the instrumental and the acapella.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game
Separately, right? That's the most common thing that I normally get. However, sometimes you may get it to where instead of the instrumental, you get some sums here, right? So we still got the acapella.
We do it 5 in the same.
But then we got a bass sum. We got a drum sum. And this is a good example too, what I mean here about how things you shouldn't have the individual stems. You should just have the sums when it comes to mastering usually, right? Because we don't have the kick and the snare on individual tracks, right? And then same with the instrument here. This is usually its own sum as well. So we can hear we got a few different layers in there. For mixing, it is good to have all the individual layers, but we're not doing that right now. We're mastering. So if we go ahead and hit play here.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe, you love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes.
So the first thing I like to do is I like to make sure that a combination of all the sums here are equaling where we need it to be for the actual headroom here. So we'll hit play and see where we're at.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe, you love when my wrist on your throat.
So we're at about -6, which is good. I like that as a level there. But I am going to increase this a little bit more so we can have a little bit more ease on the actual limiter here.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe.
Cool, and then we'll just pull up the limiter here, and then we'll start with this.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe, you love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul.
Okay, so I like to get the limiter up before we start getting into individual tracks. We'll skip all the stuff that's on the mastering channel. We don't want to do that yet until we get this stuff right. But we do at least want to get the limiter set right, because we're going to be making our decisions from there. So then what I do is I may do some volume balances if I hear any.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night. We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe, you love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep in your...
Only thing I'm really hearing is maybe the vocals could just come up like by just a little bit here.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right.
but you could make those decisions, based on what it's calling for. And I also want to point out too, usually the acapella here should have all their effects on there, like their reverbs and delays and all that. That should be already on there. We're just mastering the sum of the vocals, and they shouldn't be individual parts, right? If I go over to the chorus,
I'ma turn you out. Now I'm inside. Heaven, but I'm sweating like I'm in fire. Heaven, but
right, all the layers should be in there, right? Because again, if they're not, then you're starting to get it more into mixing there. So then usually what I do here is I will do a little adjustments on the individual channels here.
we do it 5 in the same night, even no game.
So we'll kind of give this a listen, and it's also good too to, if you have it, to pull up your tonal balance plugin. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull that up here. And if you don't have this plugin, it's not a deal breaker. Like, I don't want you to go out and buy it, if you don't have this plugin. But I like to use this for reference, especially for the sums.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. We do it 5 in the
All right, so I could probably bring down the bass just a little bit.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe.
And I may need to make a change to the drums a little bit here too.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your... We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. Give me a time and a place, baby, my schedule is so funny, you never would know, never been better.
And then I might make a little adjustment here to the bass here. Right, there's a little too much going on right there, so the record may benefit from bringing that down just a little bit.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck.
So essentially what we're doing is we're mastering each individual sum as its own thing. So I'm going to master the bass track a little bit by just making little subtle adjustments here. Nothing like I would do in mixing, that's only by like a dB there. The adjustments I made on the drums were, dB and a half and, about 2.5 dB right there. So it was just pretty subtle for the most part there. So you're going to kind of master each one, not so much mix, but you're going to master each one individually, and then you're going to master them as a whole, right? So we'll keep going here.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. Give me a time and a place, baby, my schedule.
And this is also too where sometimes the stems can come in handy, because we can see some of the vocals are causing some of that low end bump.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right. Your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get...
So we can bring that down a little bit.
We do it 5 in the same night.
See if there's anything on the instrument here. Because we have the instrument track, just cut off a little bit of the low end right there, because the low end was on a different track. Now, if we had the instrumental here, we would treat that differently. But in this case, I'm showing you an example where we have all the individual sums.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay.
All right, and then what we'll do here is we'll focus on the vocal here. Usually there might be some stuff in the mid-range that we might want to do. Again, we don't want to pull out too much.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. Give me a time and a place, baby, my schedule is so funny, you never would know, never been better before. We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I...
And then on a track like this too, where we can hear some reverb, maybe this might be a good time to do some mid-side action here. So what we'll do here is we'll pull this out. Usually the reverb is going to be found in the mid-range. So I hear a little bit there, and I hear a little bit down here. So we can ease up there a little bit.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. Give me a time and a place, baby, my schedule is so funny, you never would know, never been better before.
And then sometimes it's cool to use some multi-band compression as well, especially for some of this mid-range stuff.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay.
Yeah, we can hear a little bit of harshness right there, so we may want to pull that down a little bit there.
We do it 5 in the same.
And we're applying the same things that we would do for mastering usually, is that we want to be light. We don't want to reduce too much.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on day.
And I can probably compress down some of the low mid-range here.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right.
You know, maybe it's a track though where you don't need to do that, but on this particular one, I'm hearing we may need to just push this down a little bit.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on day.
You already know, I always say it always depends on the record, so just do whatever the record tells you to do.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right.
All right, we'll visit the instrumental section here, where it's just or I shouldn't say instrumental, but the instruments, you know, the chords and stuff, the melody. Yeah, there's a little bump right there that we can kind of pull down there. Again, I try not to go past more than 2 dB for this.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toe.
And we might do a little bit of multi-band compression too on the kick drum here. And again, there's going to be cases where you don't even need to touch that, but we'll do that for this one, as I feel like it's still adding a little bit too much to the low end. And again, since this is something that we're dealing with transients, we probably want to do a little bit of a slower attack, slower release. We could probably even reduce some of the resonance too that's going on there. Yeah, get rid of that a little bit there. This is too where mid-side might come into play a little bit here, do a little, change this down to mid here. We can even remove all the side information on the low end. Give us a little bit of clarity. I may want to go back to the bass and do that as well here. You can see we're not even losing much when we do that. And we can probably remove some of a little bit of the low end here on the drums here, just like 20 and below, just some more of that rumble. All right, let's check out what the track sounds like now.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. Give me a time and a place, baby, my schedule is so funny, you never would know, never been better. We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat.
Yeah, and we can probably deal with a little bit more in the vocal section to get some of that higher mid-range up in there.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I.
And what's cool about this too is if we notice anything in the vocals with some sibilance at all, we can always add a de-esser on there as well. Usually for this too, I like to set this just to focus on mid only here. So we'll change our stereo link over there and focus on de-essing a little bit.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game.
Yeah, we hear a little bit on the S's there.
5 in the same night.
So we'll ease up on that a little bit here.
5 in the same night, 5 in the same night, 5 in the same night.
And if you remember from the art of vocal mixing, usually what we like to do is we like to set the threshold just to where it just catching that S, so we're not affecting too much of the other areas, and then we'll adjust the range then to do about -4 to -6 dB, rather than doing a harder threshold where we're capturing everything in the lighter range. It's better to do a lighter threshold to where it's just catching those T's and S's, and then doing a more aggressive range.
5 in the
Yeah, I think we caught it right there.
5 in the same night, 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 5.
Yeah, it feels better. And the reason why I set it to mid here was I'm just really kind of just focusing on the lead vocal there.
We do it 5 in the same night, even. We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the boat, want you to wake up and go to sleep and you never get cold. Give me a time and a place, baby, my schedule is so funny you never would know.
Yeah, you see that we're not doing too much right there. We're just kind of easing up, smoothing out some areas, taking out some resonance in some certain areas. So let's give this a listen of what it sounded like before we made our changes here. We'll keep the limiter on, but we'll just get rid of all the actual individual changes that we made there. I'll even make changes to the levels here. I'll bring the levels back to where they originally were.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe, you love when my.
And then here is what it sounds like now that we made some changes.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe.
So again, before.
We do it 5 in the same night, even on game night, even on daylight. Love when you lay right, you love when I lay pipe. You love when my wrist on your throat, kissing your neck to your toes, cause I connect to your soul. Wanna get wet in the bowl.
Yeah, we just got more clarity right there. And then we can always, I know that the other versions seemed louder, but that was because there was a lot of buildup and stuff. So this gives us a little bit more work that we can do as far as bringing up the overall perceived volume and the actual loudness, as we get a little bit more to play with now that we've cleaned that up. And then from there, we'll just go ahead and proceed like we normally would. We'll go to our master channel and we'll master this as a whole individual thing, just like we normally would with our soft clippers, our bus compression, our EQs and maximizers and all that. We'll work on this like we normally would, but the stems just allow you to clean it up a little bit more. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this tutorial. If you found it useful, be sure to like and subscribe because it does help the channel grow. When you like a video, it tells YouTube that you liked it and maybe other people will like it as well. And also be sure to check out my online mixing and mastering courses, the art of beat mixing, the art of vocal mixing, and the art of mastering, all available now. And if this video was helpful and you're looking for other videos, you can watch a video here, here, and here. All right, until next time, y'all.